In this week's brand new episode of Hill Climb Monsters in Project Cars 2, we're driving an LMR legend as the BMW V12 LMR takes on our Azure Coast Hill Climb course. But can this near 600 brake horsepower V12 Behemoth stand atop the podium again and claim top spot? Let's go find out. What's going on, guys? My name's Martinio and welcome back to Project Cars 2 and a brand new episode of Hill Climb Monsters. And before we jump into today's video, apologies that this didn't come out yesterday on the Tuesday. I'm going to show my age a little bit here. I actually fell asleep in my recliner. So apologies, and by the time I kind of woke up and kind of figured out what was going on, it was just way too late to get the video out and sorted, so apologies for that. But yeah, so on to the video proper. So this week's challenger is the BMW V12 LMR, and the reason I decided to go for this car this week, a couple of reasons. The first one being we haven't done a car from the LMP 900 class yet, and the other reason is it's actually a suggestion from one of you guys. So the aptly named Creative Suggestion Guy left a comment on one of my previous videos, and you've got it on screen now. So, alright, listen up here, Matty. Right now, I feel that the top car has been sitting there for a while. Oh, what's that I see in the distance? Fire! I highly suggest the BMW LMR V12 with the same engine as the McLaren F1, gaffer taped to the back. Well, we get the idea, but I think German engineering goes a little bit beyond gaffer taping engines into the back of cars. But who knows? I'm not an engineer. So yeah, and as I said, I've been looking at that, been on my list for a while, and it has. So we're getting around to it today. In terms of the stats, fairly impressive from a Le Mans winner, as you would imagine. So, produced in 1999, this was actually a collaboration, I believe, between BMW and the Williams F1 team. This was the collaboration before BMW went into Formula 1. BMW sort of gave Williams the engine, and I think Williams built the cars. I think that's how it works. I'm not too sure. There's not a whole lot of information that I found about that, but this is definitely a collaboration between the two there. So, as I said, produced in 1999, falls into the LMP 900 class. It is rear-wheel drive. It has a 6-speed sequential gearbox bolted to that glorious V12 engine, which is producing 580 brake horsepower. Top speed of 218 miles an hour, 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. The weight is coming in just a shade over 2,000 pounds there. It doesn't have any aids like traction control, stability control, any of that nonsense. Control difficulty is 2, cornering speed is 3. And yeah, so like I said, fairly impressive all around. Now the V12, it does have a similar engine to the one that was in the McLaren F1. This one has the S70-3, whereas the McLaren F1 GTR had the S70-2. So there are subtle differences. What those are, I'm not quite sure, but they're not exactly identical. But either way, in whatever iteration, it sounds amazing, and that's another reason that I was drawn to this car. So yeah, in terms of setup and practice, big problem for this car: braking zones into slow speed corners. Really struggles mechanically in terms of mechanical grip. I tried everything I could: biases, pressures, roll bars, dampers, ride heights, so on and so forth. Played around with the differential as well to give it a little bit more stability on corner entry. I think maybe I was a little bit at fault a couple of times, maybe just having a little bit of gas, you know, a little bit of the accelerator on while still having a little bit of the brake on, which just locks the rears up completely, and that's game over. But yeah, I played around with all sorts of things, couldn't really dial it out. It was just a case of trying to drive around it and trying to figure out the best way to drive the car in the end. And I think I did that, and we're going to see it in a little while. But as you would imagine, with a car that can be a little bit temperamental at times, there were a few accidents. Both of these come from the Magic Roundabout. So this first one was very early on in practice, when I figured out I probably can't take as much curb as I want through the Magic Roundabout. It just spits me off into those bollards, and we do a bit of impromptu weight saving. And this next one, coming down into the braking zone for you know, the Magic Roundabout, just get on the curb a little bit, and that just sent us into a very big accident. And then we come to rest. Nice little close-up of me looking dizzy, and the left front tyre there, as you can see, twerking away like you know, it's dropping it like it's hot, basically. So there we go. So yeah, it was a tricky car to drive, like I said. Slow speed corners, so trash can corner, cruise liner corner. The first in the Mirage corners was a pain in the arse. The the opening to stickman squats, the initial entry uphill, really struggled with that. Rear just goes very, very light, and by the time it's snapped away on you, it's very difficult to get back. And even if you do get it back, you've lost so much time, it's just a case of just cancel the run and go back to the beginning again. So yeah, very tricky car to drive overall. In terms of what it should be aiming for on the leaderboards, we don't really have any frame of reference for the LMP 900 class because this is the first car we're doing there. I don't think it's going to get anywhere near the Toyota, unfortunately, with that 541.383 at the top of the leaderboard. But the Jaguar in 5th place, there's a good 10 years between them, admittedly, but they're both fantastic cars. With a 626.467. I think it realistically should be beating that. By how much, I'm not too sure. In terms of the actual full-blown leaderboards, unless we beat the top time, it's not going to get a place on the leaderboard, which is really unfortunate, and I've complained endlessly about the way the Slightly Mad Studios have done these leaderboards. But yeah, there we go. I mean, to get on the first page, we're looking at, what, a 6-minute flat, more than likely. So that could be a difficult one. To find the next LMP 900 car on the list, you have to go down to page number 3 and position number 25. And it was a Ferrari 333 SP with a 624.377. So I think realistically we should be beating that and the Jaguar. But who knows? Anything can happen. We'll see. And we'll see right now, actually, because we're going to head down to the track. And we're going to see finally how the BMW V12 LMR got on its best run. Okay then, guys, here we go. BMW V12 LMR on our Azure Coast Hill Climb course. As we come now through the first corner, booty curve. Had troubles with that one. Finding the apex was difficult, but through the centre S it is absolutely superb. And coming down into the braking zone for cruise liner corner, you have to brake a lot earlier than you initially think you should do. And the same for here as well. We don't get anywhere near the apex on this thing because the rear end is just very, very temperamental and squirmy at times. But we push on nonetheless, and we're still unscathed at this point as we come down towards the magic roundabout. We're going to take a fair amount of curbing, but this time we don't completely bottle it and, you know, completely wreck the car. And into the entrance of Stickman Squats, and I'm going to cut it really tight there. It seems to be the only way to get it through that corner without it unstabilising the rear. So if you're driving this, I highly suggest taking the curbing on the inside uphill to Stickman Squats because it really stabilises the rear of the car. If you try and go anywhere else, the rear end will just try and kick away from you, and that will create all sorts of problems. But onto the happy highway now, and over the hump. Didn't have to lift through there, and coming down to traffic code corner, we don't have to lift through here either. Pegged at 185 miles an hour through here, not even a hint of a lift. Lose a bit of speed because we're turning, but absolutely fantastic through there. Superb through the high speed corners, it really was. And down now towards Stonewall corner, and again we don't get this exactly right, just maybe a little bit too slow. Probably could have taken a little bit more speed through there, but again it was just through some of the longer corners, it was a little bit again understeery occasionally. It wasn't a huge problem, it wasn't something I really fought too hard to address because you can normally drive around it. But I mean through here as well, through Ice Cream Cove, you have to be very hesitant through here, surprisingly. Normally that first entry part with a car with a decent amount of downforce, you can take a lot of speed through there, but this just starts to drift off towards the back end of corners, which made it really difficult to just you know, really go for it, I suppose you could say. But now we're coming down towards the slowest speed corner on the course, James May corner, the corner named after Captain Slow from Top Gear. Again through here, very tentative on the go pedal there, just to make sure. A little snap of oversteer, we catch it nice and early, and through towards the back end of sector number 1. We're doing okay from this point. We're doing all right. To be honest, we're not anywhere close. We're about 10 seconds off through that first sector, off the time set by the Toyota TS050, which sits atop our Hill Climb Monsters leaderboard. But we're doing pretty good as things stand. And down through here, outrun up into 6th gear. Fantastic to drive through here, it really was. Again through here as well, a little bit wide maybe, we just about keep it on the track. And again through here it was pretty good, but I don't know, maybe it bogged down a little bit. Maybe coming down to 3rd would give us a bit more poke out of the corner. But we survived pretty much unscathed anyway, and on we go. And down towards Bridge Corner now. Get it down to 2nd gear, don't quite get the apex. Like I said, it's just a little bit, occasionally it can be a little bit understeery. It's really hard to tune out because it's not all the time. It's not like all the way around. So I don't know whether it's more to do with my driving style, maybe just not braking, you know, braking maybe 10 yards too late perhaps. But down into this corner here, again, just got to be careful. It's got a bit of camber on the inside, which can help you around, but if you get on the power too quickly, as I found out in practice, you can spin up those rears, and that's pretty much the end of the run because you'll be pointing towards the wall. And again, down into second again, through here, get on the grass a little bit, helps you around the corner, and off we go again, down towards the Camel Straight now. We go over this first bump, over this second one. No issues through there really. Pretty good when it gets airborne, to be honest with you. But this one, coming down to Mirage 1, real pain in the back. So you can see here, big snap of oversteer. I have to really dip the brakes hard. Get it down to second for the second of the Mirage corners. But I had trouble with that first corner so many times. It ruined so many runs. It really was the bane of my life. As we come down the pogo stick straight now and down towards what will be the last few corners of sector number 2 now. Again, a little bit of oversteer, a little bit of power oversteer as we get on the go pedal. Nearly hit the wall there as we get airborne. And coming down through here, just ease off the power a little bit just to make sure we don't have an accident. But full throttle down through here and through the tunnel onto the Great Ocean Highway. And we're going to take a bit of curbing through there, just about keeping out the wall on the left side. We make it through, and we brake a little bit too late there. I wanted to cut it way too fine. I mean, it's a nice wide corner. It's got a good amount of camber that'll help you around it, but I wanted to cut it a little bit finer there, more towards the apex, and I missed it by quite a distance. And as we push down towards the viaduct straight through here, I tried it in 6th, but it just wasn't having it really. So I decided to do it in 5th, and we get up to 6th now, and down towards Deception. A little bit of a wobble there. Get it down to 3rd gear. Again, no quite get it where I want it to. Again, a little bit unstable as we get on the power again, but through Deception, pretty good. Overall, we stayed out of the fence, which I think is the best thing. If you're going to get through Deception, I think that's all you can say. I stayed out of the fence at Deception. So there we go. Down through here, sweeps now, and pretty good through here. Not as good as I was expecting it to be, but it was pretty good nonetheless. As we come down towards the back of it now, into 2nd gear for this one. Again, just a little bit careful. It's a quite undulating corner. It's not exactly even through the traction zone there. But again, now onto Rocky Road now, the final part of our run. Again, really good through here, as I was expecting it to be. No hints of understeer. Again, probably could have taken it a little bit quicker, but I was a little bit hesitant. This was actually the only timed run I completed in the whole hour of timed runs I had. So many problems with this car, trying to get it to do what I want it to do at times. But as we come down towards the line now and across it, it's going to be a time of 6 minutes 8 seconds 0.641. So we've beaten the best time on the leaderboard, and we've beaten the Jaguar. We've beaten it by a fair distance. We've beaten it by about what, 18 seconds. And it's good enough to put this thing 3rd on our leaderboards. So, brilliant car. Like I said, though, I still think there's more time in it. I really do. I think I lost a crap ton of time through the first and the Mirage corners when the back end got. You see how just light the rear went. I just had to counter steer, brake, hope it didn't spin all the way around because it would have screwed the run. If I could figure that out, maybe a click of extra downforce would do it, but I don't know. It's, like I said, it's more the slow speed stuff. So I think it's about figuring out the chassis, figuring out the suspension setup. I'd give it a good go. I couldn't get it where I wanted it. But yeah, there we go. I mean, in terms of where it would sit on the actual leaderboards, if it had got a place on there, unfortunately it doesn't. It would have been on page number 2, I believe there. And yeah, I mean, a pretty good time overall. We wouldn't have made the first page, unfortunately, but still a 608.641. A pretty respectable time from this car, considering how temperamental it could be. So if you plan on driving this, like I said, braking, slow speed corners, big areas to watch out for, and undulating corners if you're going to drive it on this track. If you're on a flat circuit, then I think this thing will be absolutely fantastic, as I've got it. But get a bit of undulation, you know, bit of elevation change, rapid elevation change like through stickman squats, then you maybe struggle a little bit. You probably have to put a little bit of work in setup wise, but overall a very fun car to drive when you can get it to do what you want it to do. But there we go, guys. So the BMW V12 LMR now 3rd on our leaderboards with a 608.641 0.641 there. Pretty good run all in all, and like I said, a pretty fun car to drive. But there we go, guys. That's the end of today's video. So thank you everybody so much for watching. If you did enjoy this, you would like to see more Project Cars 2 or just general racing content from myself, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Also, be sure to check me out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. All the links are down there in the description. Always happy to converse with you on whatever platform you wish. So you can hit me up there, find out a few more things about Matinho, get to know what goes on in Matinho's wacky but sometimes dull life, as you would imagine from sleeping in a recliner. But there we go, guys. But like I said, thank you everybody so much for watching once again. Stay cool, and as always, I will catch you in the next video. Peace!